The best way to start game developing? The best way to start game developing is to make a game. I know that sounds simple, but my recommendation is, a lot of people ask, like, what's the best engine? Google around, pick one of the easy ones. Pick the easiest one you can find. Something like Construct, Game Maker, Multimedia Fusion. There's a bunch of these game tools out there where you don't even necessarily need to code to make a game. I would recommend starting with one of those. And then think of the simplest game you can think of. I bet you already have an idea for a cool game you want to make. That game is way too complicated. Pick the simplest game you can think of and make that. For example, try making Snake. Try making Doodle Jump. Underwhelm yourself. Pick the simplest game you can think of. And then try making it. And then you will actually finish it. And then when you finish it, think of the next simplest idea you can think of. You know, pick a game type that you like, so you're at least motivated to make it, right? But pick the next simplest thing you can think of, and then make that. And then make the next simplest thing you can think of, and make that. And here's what will happen. You'll start getting better. And then whatever tool you picked, you'll start fighting the tool, because you're going to want to make something it wasn't really intended for. That's when it's time to switch to the next one. And by then, you'll have more experience, you'll be more familiar, you'll have been following other game devs and junk, you'll know what the next one is you want to try. Maybe it's Unity, maybe it's Unreal, maybe it's Godot, maybe it's, maybe it's just making a random game in C because you want to do that or whatever. And then keep doing that. And keep picking the simplest next game. Every game project you pick ideally has like one main new thing you don't know how to do. So then you can use the skills you've already learned, and through that game project, learn a few more skills. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The most common mistake is that people bite off a game that's far too complex, and then they get really frustrated, and they think, oh, I was right, making games is too hard, it's not for me. That is not the case. Making games is not that hard. In fact, you should go watch Vim Lark's streams if you haven't, because he's a fantastic inspiration for that getting into games is not as daunting as it should sound, So that would be my main recommendation. And if you're at all like me, you'll actually really find the process of figuring out how to make a game really fun. And then it becomes less important that the game you're making is an amazing idea, because the actual act of making it and solving the problems of making it is really fulfilling in and of itself, which is why I strongly recommend making a simple game. Because if you pick a simple game, you'll get a great feedback loop. You get this feedback loop where you struggle a little bit, but you figure something out, and boom, it's on screen. And then you're like, oh, cool, I got the character on screen. Oh, cool, I can move the character around. Oh, now I can make a rule when they collide with something happens. Whoa, and like you're getting this feedback where you have an idea, you struggle a little bit, and then it's there and it's working. And then you pile those things on top of each other, and you will start to feel this like rush of how cool it feels to be able to make something. To be able to like have an idea and then just create it and just conjure it. And the most important thing is to feel that feeling. It's not important to make the coolest game ever, or to learn the right tech, or the right engine, or the right programming language. What you need is the feedback loop. The feedback loop is how you continue and you want to get better. It's just like a sport or something, right? Most sports the world enjoys are easy and simple, right? And the reason those are the popular sports is because when you try them, you can get a little bit of positive feedback early, right? You pick up a basketball and you try throwing it through the hoop and you get it through once and you're like hooked. You're like, whoa, that was awesome. I can get better at this, right? So that's the key, in my opinion, to game dev. Pick an easy tool. Who cares if it's the right one? Doesn't matter. Pick the easiest tool you can find, make the easiest game you can think of, and then pile up those learnings and get that positive feedback loop. And I promise you will love it. You'll turn out like me, where I like making games even more than I like playing them. That is my, imposter secret, is that people assume if you make games, you must love games and play them all the time. And yeah, I like games. Of course I like games. But I like making them way more. So I don't even play games all that much. I spend way more time making stuff than consuming other games, which is a blessing and a curse. It means I'm, maybe not as informed as I could be, but it also means I'm good at making games because I get a lot of practice. So anyway, that was a super long answer, but hopefully you got something out of it. That's the best advice I can think of. And, hopefully it's helpful.